Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. I'm Father Steve Sellers, and thank you so much for tuning in today for this brief daily message of hope. And my prayer, as always, for you is that you're able to find hope in your world today. Believe it or not, hope is still out there, and especially when you look up to the Lord. Our hope is in the Lord, and when we can't find it anywhere else, guess what? We're not looking to Him. And the Lord will provide what we need as we need it, because He knows our needs before we even ask. Today I'm just thinking briefly about how we make preparations for the things we do in our lives. We go to great trouble many times to make preparations. I played a wonderful old song from 1966. It came out, the band The Lovin' Spoonful released this album. It was on probably their greatest album, one of the greatest albums of the 60s, Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful, and it was called Rain on the Roof. And I remembered it this morning because when I was learning how to play the guitar back in the early 1960s, I had a big decision to make. I didn't like to practice, and I was always quitting practice, and I would find myself stymied playing with a flat pick. And that song, Rain on the Roof, it's pretty boring playing it with just a flat pick, even when you play the chords with it. Even when you play the chords with it and pick the melody out, it was still boring to me. But fortunately, I had an album that Chet Atkins had done, and so I learned how to finger pick the way Chet Atkins did, so I could do do a whole lot of other things. And so my preparation and my practice time with the guitar took on a new meaning for me. I learned where I could play without even having to sing, and I don't like to hear myself sing anyway. But preparation was using finger picks and learning how to do different things on the fretboard. And you know, the great song that Bobby Hebb did in 1963 called Sunny. Became much more entertaining for me during my practice time. So how do we make preparations? We make preparation for school, we make preparation going to work, we make preparation for assignments we have to do, we make preparations for the day, we make preparations for the week, we make preparations for Christmas and Thanksgiving. We know what it's like to make preparation. But I want to talk just for a minute or two about making spiritual preparations. Because St. Paul shows us how, and the Lord Jesus teaches us how, to make preparations for our lives in the Spirit. St. Paul was writing to his church in Thessalonica, and I think it's 1 Thessalonians, and if I can find the page here, let's see here. No, actually it's in Colossians chapter 3. He's writing to his church, teaching them how to prepare for their lives. And that's what the main thing for us is how do we prepare to live? There are really two paths we follow, either the way of the Spirit or the way of the flesh. And there's no middle ground between those two. We're going one way or the other. And here's what St. Paul tells. He says, therefore, starting at verse 12 of Colossians 3, this is life preparations. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Notice these preparations: compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiving, and loving. These are all things that we do for others. that we make preparations not to fill our own lives with entertainment or extraneous things that are going to fade away anyway. The best way we can make preparation for living a spiritual life is to focus on others, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be humble, to be gentle, to be patient, to be forgiving, and to be loving. These are the virtues that we practice making our preparations for the day. And we make those preparations in prayer because God has to help us with those. We can't do them all by ourselves. So ask Him for help. If you want to fulfill your life in ways that are unimaginable in the material world, guess what? Ask God to help you. Ask Him to share with you compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiving, loving, because God already has, because that's what He does for us and to us. So I hope you have a blessed day today. And remember, as you're making preparations, it's not like playing the guitar, which we basically do for ourselves, but we practice to give to others, obviously. But when we're making spiritual preparations, we ask the Lord to help us so that we can be compassionate, we can be kind, we can be humble, gentle, and patient, and loving with others. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. And through His grace and mercy, I will see you right here again tomorrow.